Hi everyone. Okay, it's time for another video. This time we're going over oceans. Everybody should be on page 46 in the packet. We're going to do the fill-in-the-blank questions first. Number 1 says, most waves on the ocean surface are generated by what? Correct answer is winds. As you know, the air is moving in the atmosphere and that can move both currents and waves. Number 2, the blank of the daily periodic rise and fall of sea level. That would be the tides. Number 3, the raising and lowering of sea level are caused by the gravitational pull of the sun and to a less extent the moon. Number 4, there are large current systems that operate in the oceans. Probably the most famous one is the Gulf Stream, which brings warm water from the tropics to as far north as England. Number 5, sea level falls when glacial ice caps grow. That's because you're taking water out of the ocean, and rises when the ice caps melt. Number 6 we talked about is upwelling zones. These are areas near the equator and along the east sides of the ocean basins where winds bring deep water to the surface and the fish reproduce. Number 7, areas where fresh and salt water mix are called estuaries. Probably the most famous example is right here in Virginia, which is the Chesapeake Bay. Number 9, important source of atmospheric oxygen. We've already covered that in the atmosphere unit is algae. It was the algae that terraformed the deadly early atmosphere of the Earth into the one that we can breathe today. Number 10, the oceans are an important source of food and minerals. Number 11, pollution and overfishing can harm or deplete valuable resources. In fact, one of the things that I notice changes in the SOLs over time is there's a greater focus on the damage that we're doing to the oceans, and of course the number one thing that people are thinking about today is all the plastics that are being put into the ocean, not just things like bottles and so on, but ground up plastic, the microplastic that can damage invertebrate organisms like clams. Number 12, chemical pollution and sedimentation can also damage the well-being of estuaries and oceans. The stored heat in the ocean drives much of the Earth's weather. You notice I talked about weather and then oceans was right after that. That's because the oceans and weather are interacting with each other. In many cases, you look at, for example, Virginia Beach, they don't get a lot of snow throughout the year because the Atlantic is so warm that it moderates temperature near the coastal areas. Number 14, the stored heat in the ocean causes climates near the ocean to be milder, as I just mentioned with Virginia Beach. 15, features of seafloor related to plate tectonics include the mid-ocean ridges and trenches. Alright, that does it for page 47. On the next page, page 48. Let's do the multiple choice questions. On page 49, it says there's a diagram and there's some text. The big question is, what is the technology used that maps the seafloor? The answer is C, sonar. The main advantage of using dams to produce electric energy is G, they do not produce much pollution. The next question is one of my favorite questions. Again, I haven't talked at all about bioremediation. This is one that you have to sort of think through. So it says, oil spills have a tremendous impact on the ocean environment, and the oil must be cleaned up after these spills. A new technique for cleaning oil from beaches is called bioremediation. And how exactly does this work? So let's go through our answers and see what makes sense. The bacteria bind with the oil and bring it to the land. Now, does that solve the problem? No, it just moves it onto the land. The bacteria pull the oil down to the ocean floor. Again, doesn't solve the problem. It just moves it to the bottom of the seafloor. Bacteria chemically change the oil to less harmful substances. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So the answer is C. Number 4, why is the surface temperature of the oceans more variable than the water near the ocean floor? The answer is A. This is one of those where sometimes you got to rethink about the question. What they're really asking is, why is it higher near the surface of the ocean? The answer is simple. Sunlight warms up the surface of the oceans. Number 5, fish are abundant in areas where the ocean is upwelling because of B, nutrients are brought to the surface. The two most common ions found in ocean water are, of course, sodium and chlorine. 7. All the following features of the ocean indicate tectonic activity except the abyssal plains. They have nothing to do with plate tectonics. Number 8. All the following are sources of energy derived from the ocean except coal. Coal forms from marshes. And number 9. Wetlands are most prevalent in which physiographic province of Virginia? Well, again, we didn't talk much about the wetlands, but the wetlands are close to the ocean, as you might guess. So the answer is A, the coastal plain. And that concludes another